Breathe. Okay. Not like that. Don't pant like a puppy. Breathe. And I'm going to invite all of us to do that. To leave the rush hour and the hustle and bustle of Friday behind as we join together to welcome Shabbat, as we take a moment to be here, to be not multitasking, not doing 15 things at once, but just focusing on our Shabbat service, on our bat mitzvah, celebrating with her and her family. So those appendages you brought, whether they're Apple or Android or whatever, just make sure they're off, make sure they're, we don't get calls in the middle of the service, so that we can really concentrate on being here with Hannah and celebrating with Hannah and her family.
Unless it's God,
if you're a brain surgeon, surgeon on call.
But maybe God is calling, and so you have to pay attention.
Oh, okay. Are you there, God? It's me. Yeah, sure. No, that's fine. God in search of man. God is calling. Well, we have voicemail.
Okay, we'll
leave
it.
God will leave a voicemail. It's fine. So we're going to do page 13. Shalom Aleichem. So we're going to welcome the angels of Shabbat on page 13 with Shalom Aleichem.
If you're in the transliterated book, the soft cover, blue one, pay attention to the pages, to the numbers above the page. 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lachem LeShalom, Malachei Yashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's join together. Baruch Hu LeShalom, Malachei Yashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzechem LeShalom, Malachei Yashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Now that we're all settled in so nicely and we're here, I'm going to ask you to rise as we call up Abigail Stiglitz and all of the Kita Zion moms who will join us to light the Shabbat candles up with us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mizbecha v'tzivanu v'hadliknei b'shalach Shabbat.
Happy, healthy, peaceful Shabbat for us, all our friends, and our loved ones. Amen. You may be seated. We turn to page 15 in our Sim Shaloms and page 12 in the transliteration for Psalm 95, L'chu Neranena.
L'chu neranena l'Adonai nariya letzur isheinu nekadma fanav v'toda mizmirot nariya lo ki al gadol Adonai melech hadol al kol Elohim ארבעים שנה הכות ותור ואומר רבותיי לבבם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשמתי ואפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי
We turn to the Lechadodi, the song that welcomes Shabbat. We turn to page 22 in our Sim Shaloms and page 25 in the transliteration for Lechadodi.
If this melody is not completely familiar to you, take a moment to just be in it, to lean on and trust your body that will know how to hum along. And when you're ready, please join us.
And if no other words come to you, lai la lai is always acceptable.
Ya la 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 lai lai lai. Ya la. We'll start with ya la lai. Ya la 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 lai lai lai. Ya la 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 lai lai lai. Ya la 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 lai lai lai. Ya la la la. Now you try it a little louder. Ya la 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 lai lai lai. Ya la la la. בארץ, לך דודי, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תאמני. בך יחסו עניי ימי ונבנתה עיר על תהילה. Together. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. והיו לי משיסה שעושייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך. יסיס עלייך אלוהיך, כמסוס חתן על כלה. Together. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי. אל יביש בין פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה.
We rise as we face the door to welcome the Shabbat bride.
לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה וצולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated, except for Abigail Stieglitz, who's going to come up and do Psalm 92, a special psalm for Shabbat, which can be found in your Sim Shaloms, your blue books, on page 23.
Yes, thank you. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp.
Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation.
How vast your works, Adonai! Your designs are beyond our grasp.
The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever.
Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish, all the wicked shall crumble.
But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God.
They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant to proclaim, Adonai is just, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Nice job. Yes. We're here. Yeah? Excited? It's good. You study, you worked hard. It's good. Now you can just let go and breathe or pant or gasp, whatever you were doing earlier. So, you did a great job. I've heard your stuff. You really did well. And I want to share with everybody kind of a different portrayal of a child that we talked about a lot of different things from the Parsha. We didn't talk about this one. And there's a part in our weekly reading that Hannah's going to read the Parsha, the section from the Torah that we read every week. She's going to read this week's section, and in it, there's this description. If a householder has a wayward and defiant child, a wayward and defiant son, I'm looking at you, a wayward and defiant son who does not heed his father or mother and does not obey them even after they discipline him, then his father and mother, wait for it, shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of the town at the public space of his community. They shall say to the elders of the town, this son of ours, I don't know why they've got New York accents all of a sudden, but they do, I'm just going to go with it. This son of ours is disloyal and defiant. He does not heed us. He's a glutton and a drunkard. And then this happens. Thereupon, the town's council shall stone him to death. Dun, dun, dun. Lovely. This 3,000-year-old document that Hannah's going to read, and we're going to all raise the Torah, and we're going to give praise to God, and we're going to talk about the beauty and the wisdom of the Torah. And we've got a passage like that. And you're going to talk tomorrow about some other difficult passages that we found this week, right? Here's the thing. Thousands of years ago, the rabbis didn't like it any more than we did. The rabbis looked at this verse like we do and said, what? They probably didn't say what. They said, what is going on? And they said, no. They said, this is not okay. This is not acceptable to us rabbis sitting in Babylon hundreds, if not thousands of years, hundreds of years later after the Torah was given, depending, there are actual professors here, I'm not going to test my knowledge of Jewish history because they're going to make sure I'm right. Anyway, they're going to correct me. But the rabbis sitting generations later said this is not right, this description of the wayward and the defiant child. So they said, well, I'm not going to make them New Yorkers, but you know what? Let's limit the scope. In order for the circumstances to be as it's described in the Torah, the son has to be this and has to be that, and the mother has to be this and has to be that, and the father has to and they didn't get rid of it, but they created all of these. Well, the Torah only meant it in this case. Not in this case, but in this case. And it's not this large a box, it's this, and they made it smaller and smaller, until it got to a point where no one fit these categories. In the history, no one was ever stoned to death because they were a wayward and rebellious child. Yes, whew, I know. I'm looking at him, don't worry. I'm looking at both. I'm looking at all of you. Only because there's no mirror talking to myself when I was 13. But no, it's not a personal thing, I promise. No one fit the category because the rabbis didn't agree with it any more than we did. But they also didn't just discard it. They realized that the Torah was written at a time and a place, that the culture was different. The rules were different. We're going to see how different some of those rules are. But what is important was that they kept wrestling with it. Now, this is called Pasadena Jewish, right? That's the second word in our name, Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. But that's not actually what we are. At our core, our first name, this group of people, is not Jew. What is it? What are we described as in the Torah, in the Bible? We're Israelites. And what do we do as Israelites? We wrestle. We wrestle with this text. We wrestle with these ideas and we try to understand from it, how does this text written so long ago, in such different place and under such different circumstances, what does it have to say to us today? Because that is reprehensible, this idea of the wayward and rebellious child. But we wrestle with it. We can't throw it away. When we have a child come up and become a bar or bat mitzvah, tomorrow you'll see this in action. We say lador vador, from generation to generation. So we have to keep passing down our tradition. But there's a very key part of it. We say the words Eitz Chaim. It is a tree of life, this Torah that we read. A tree of life to whom? L'machazikim ba, to those who grab it, to those who wrestle with it. It is easy to look at the Torah behind the glass like it would be to look at a painting or an artifact in a museum. But that's not what we do. We take it down, we open it up, we read from it, and we wrestle with it. And by doing that, we take ownership of our tradition. Tomorrow, Hannah's going to be called to the Torah. The actual moment where she becomes a bat mitzvah is not reading the Torah, it's being called and saying the blessings. And the blessing she is going to say is Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. God who gives, not gave, but who gives the Torah every day. And every time we read from it, and every time we take it down and we grab this tree of life, every time we wrestle with it, revelation continues. And we renew Judaism, and we renew the values in 2023 in Pasadena a little bit differently than the Israelites in the Far East, in the ancient Middle East. It is a tree of life to those who grab onto it. Our past is our past. We cannot change it. But what we can do is learn from it. What we can do is take some of the lessons and make them our own, wrestle with this text, grab onto this tree of life, and have our tradition for ourselves. Shabbat Shalom. We continue our service on page 28. Yep, that's right. I'm going to ask everybody, if you're able to please rise on page 28 as the formal call to prayer, the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Havorach leolam
Baed. Baruch Adonai Hamorach leolam Baed.
You may be seated.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי ורבים.
We're on page 29 in the Sim Shalom, the Blue Books, page 34 in the transliteration.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח לחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, בשבנתם לבניך ודיברתם בם, בשבתך ביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופטך וקומך, וקשרתם להיות על לבדיך, והיו לטפטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf betil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit uritem oto וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
אמת אמונה כל זאת תקיים עלינו כאדוני אלוהינו. Let's join together in the middle of page 12, 32. Can you hear me?
32.
Let's go. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקר היום לפני משה ומרים. זה לי, אנו האמרו. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר יפקד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We turn, sorry if I jumped on the note, didn't mean to. We turn to page 33 for the Hashkivenu prayer, and we call up Alexis Wolf, your aunt? Yeah. Hannah's aunt, to read the Hashkivenu on page 33.
Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people, Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. We turn to page 42 in the Sim Shalom for Vishamru.
34?
Sorry, 42 in the transliteration, 34 in the, sorry, I got confused. 34 in the, you're right. You were right. No, you were right. In the Sim Shalom, page 34, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת,
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. בריתו כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש
שמרו בני ישראל את השבת
לעשות את השבת
לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
יקדל ויקדש שמי רבה Vilman divra kirute, milmich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, ufayeda kol beit Yisrael. Bagala, uvizman karim, v'imeru. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach, le'alam alam le'omaya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudashah, le'ela mikol berchata, beshirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram belma, v'imeru.
Amen. On page 35 in the Sim Shalom, you will find the silent Amidah, which is a standing silent prayer. This is a prayer we say in every service. You can please rise as you say it if you're able. It's also, if you don't know the words, it's okay. This is also a time for silent reflections or prayers from the heart.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי וגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אמן. Together. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו והכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמן אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. ועל כל יושבי תבל
I'm now going to call up Emily and Mia Stieglitz to open the ark, and I'm going to ask you all to please rise if you're able as we turn to page 51 for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שמו תשמעי ויעשה עצמו שהעיקר שמענו שכנות הזאת. על כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו יראות מרב תפארת וזכר. כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר וחי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. In our community this week, we commemorate the Yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Frank Bellino and Nathan Brown, of Julia Kerwinski and Stanley Merle Claster, of Bernice Cutler and Elaine Dixon, of Laura Feiner and Irving Foyer, of Frida Fishman and Evelyn Friedman, of Isaac Goldfein and Erwin Grader, of Nathan Green and Mordechai Greenspan, of Selma Hassman and Max Hassman, of Anna Jacoby and Marjorie Sue Laska, of Howard Leading and Ruth Leopold, of Irene Levine and Martin Lewin, of Arthur Litzt and Thelma Lipton, of Mildred Michaels and Regina Moskowitz, of Max G. Perry and Berenica Rappaport, of William Rosenberg and Harold Rothstein, of Lena Schultz and Betty Shore, of Morris Schur and Robert Siegel, of Rachel Stryker and Louis Searle, of Jules Tragarts and Edwina Werner, of Frida Woolman and Louise Zimmerman. Anybody who has a need or desire to say the Mourner's Kaddish, please rise with me as we say the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Gift time. Yeah, all right, you're going to get some presents. So, first we're going to call up Juliet Levine and then Sandra. You know who Sandra is? Are you familiar with her? Okay. And then we're going to, so Juliet's going to do the USY presentation, Dreschner is going to do Sisterhood presentation, and Eric Schlecht will do the Men's Club presentation. Juliet?
Mazel tov, Hannah, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone. My name is Juliet Levine, and I'm a friend and classmate of Hannah, and here speaking on behalf of the USY board. Before I present you with a gift from USY, I want to say that I'm very happy to be celebrating your bat mitzvah with you. I love spending time with you. You're funny and enthusiastic. I'm here to present you with something I'm sure you're familiar with. A Beko Echad, which translates to in one voice. It's a songbook used for both Sloach and Ruach at USY regional events. Sloach can be described as calm and reflective, whereas Ruach is filled with spirit, and I'm excited to see you use it at USY events in the future. You've done a wonderful job tonight, and I'm certain you will do a great job tomorrow.
Mazel tov. Sandra?
Mazal Tov, Hannah. Yes, you have the distinction of being the last B'nai Mitzvah of your pretty incredible class. As last but not least, as the saying goes. You also have the most amazing smile and that cute dimples, which reflects your entire demeanor, which is as a young adult full of positive energy, your determination, your creativity, and you are kind and caring towards others. It has been an absolute pleasure to tutor you in everything Hebrew, Torah, Haftarah, blessings, this past year, and to observe the tremendous progress you have made. You have worked so hard at learning everything. Even though you haven't become a bat mitzvah quite yet, you've already agreed to blow shofar for your Rosh Hashanah. So on behalf of the PJTC Sisterhood, I would like to present you with your very own Kiddush cup, which I hope you will use every Shabbat, and Mazal Tov to you and your lovely family. Proud of you.
Mazel tov. Esher koach. Eric Schlecht. You get intro music. You're lucky.
Hi, Hannah. You're doing a wonderful job tonight. Sandra actually said what I was going to say. Your smile is just, it looks like you're having fun. You don't look the least bit nervous or anything. And I'm sure your parents and your family and your friends are totally proud of you. I must say that it's been wonderful to know your family a little bit. Dan, who's a member of Men's Club and an overall great guy. Abby, fellow Johns Hopkins alum and JPLer. And you and Emily. And so anyway, as you know, Men's Club gives yads to the B'nai Mitzvah. And you might ask, why a yad as opposed to a Kiddush Cup or a Chanukia? I'm not totally sure, but this is my opinion. I think that Men's Club's mission is to encourage you and your classmates to connect with the Jewish community, Jewish history, culture, and Torah. And I find that the yad is a good symbol. So when you're reading Torah tomorrow, it'll be connecting you to the Torah. I have one that Cantor Ruth gave me, and I'll be using it tomorrow. Every time I hold it, it's precious. So anyway, Mazel Tov and Shabbat Shalom, and as Juliet said, I'm sure you'll do great tomorrow.
Yesher koach. Mazel tov. Thank you, Eric. Shabbat Shalom. All right. Should we wrap it up? You want to do it? You want to do it all over? Or should we wrap it up?
Well, we should wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Okay. No, we're good.
We don't need our prayer books
We do
because
not.
this song talks about peace and is very easy to learn. So I'm going to ask you to rise if you're able to. And if you don't know it, lie with us, you'll figure it out in a moment.
Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Be'at Kulah. Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Be'at Kulah. Salam Aleinu Be'at Kulah. Salam Shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, come on girls. Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Oyevot Shalom Aleinu, Be'at Kulah. Salam Aleinu Be'at Kulah. Salam Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, let's join in.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שווה מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ooh, that's sugary. If you want to. Here, come here. Go ahead. Here you go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat
Yadayim.
yadayim. Ooh, ah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's join in. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Tear it up. There you go.